What's going on YouTube? This is a practice test with a cell phone. What up? Looking pretty good. Making sure my fat chin is not showing up, nor am I looking like a little baby, although with the hairline. Not really sure if the top down view makes me any younger. Straight profile is probably the best bet. Do not take summer school until you see this video. I'm failing. I have to take summer school. I need to upgrade. I'm taking summer school. Summer school is easy. I'm taking summer school. I'll get right to the point. You may want to take summer school because it's easier. And you know what? It is. No matter how you cut it, there is no way we can take all the stuff that we have in day school and cram it in 1 month to cover in summer school. We just don't have the time. So how does summer school work? Let's break it down. Do not take summer school if you are trying to upgrade a credit, you are trying to recover a failed credit, or you are trying to go to a different pathway. First, a little rant about summer school. Did you know that in the education system there is so much discussion about all the different ways we can support students? Differentiated learning, differentiated instruction, flipped classroom, discovery learning, assessment of learning, assessment as learning, assessment for learning, intrinsic motivation, learning supports, scaffolding, self-directed learning, collaborative learning, meaningful learning. You get the point, right? The list goes on and on about all these different ways we can help students succeed, and of course, all the parents are supporting, because after all, why wouldn't we want to enrich and really support and give our students the opportunity to really succeed in the education system? Why are we still letting our students go into summer school? Think about it. All the strategies that I've mentioned up till now requires time. It gives the students the opportunity to actually use their brains, to think, to engage, to come up with their own conclusions, to feel that gratification of accomplishing something that they weren't able to do just a minute ago. That requires time. Time is something that summer school does not have. So in summer school, what do we do have time for? Memorizing. After all, summer school, it's basically cram school. 3 hours of class straight, 1 hour lunch, and another 3 hours of class straight. Parents, does that sound fun to you? No? Well, it's probably not fun for your kids either. In my typical class, about 30 minutes or so is taken as a lesson, as an activity, as an exercise, whatever, and the remaining 30 to 45 minutes that I have left is spent with practice. I walk around, I check on kids. Some kids also need a break. Whatever the case may be, a lot of practice is done so that the lesson becomes solidified, it becomes ingrained, it becomes digested inside their brains. Want a little more information about how the brain works? Click the link above about effective practice and effective learning. Summer school isn't like that. Summer school is just go, go, go. It's 6 hours of approximately 6 days worth of teaching. 6 lessons in 1 day. For math, that means there's little time for practice and a lot of time for just memorization, which brings us to case 2. Case 2, sacrificing critical thinking. We're covering a full year's worth in 1 month. So how do we cover it? By sacrificing critical thinking. Critical thinking is the most transferable skill that you can take from math. It's literally the one thing that makes math stand out above everything else. Even if you forget how to crunch numbers, how to work with parabolas, how to deal with sinusoidal functions, whatever, you will not forget your ability to assess a situation, think critically, think deeply, to come to a conclusion, come to a solution that is effective, that is useful, and that will ultimately solve your problem. It's also the part of math that builds resilience, that builds perseverance, that builds creativity. It's the ability to dig deeper, and we're sacrificing that in summer school because of time. I know I'm being biased here, but math is probably the best course, if not the only course, that challenges you to think objectively and creatively at the same time. Which brings us to case number 3. Case number 3, memorization versus understanding. Can you imagine reading Romeo and Juliet and not understanding the political nuances in it? How about history? It's not just a past or some kind of story. It's the analysis of the events that took place, which caused leaders or people as a nation to make certain decisions as a retaliation or as a reaction to something else that has happened around them. It's studying the actions of people in drastic and difficult situations. How about the evolution of music? Not appreciating how the changes in society and the cultures also influence the evolution from, let's say, the Renaissance, moving on to the Baroque, to the classical, all the way to today. whatever today's music is. Students coming out of summer school come out the same way. They're basically robots with information shoved in them without giving the opportunity to really digest and understand what it is that they memorized throughout the entire month. That brings us to case number 4. Case 4, a skewed sense of self-confidence. Coming out of summer school in about 80 or 90% is not an 80 or 90% in day school. Cram school focuses on your K and A marks without really touching on the C and T marks. At best, K and A marks add up to about 70% your overall. So let's do the math. Assuming you got about 0% on your T and C because you didn't do anything for T and C, and you got about a 90% in your K and A, which is because you memorize and just spit out information, you would be a weighted average of a cool 63%. What's worse, because information was crammed into you during the month of August, you probably forget about everything that you learned. Students who come back in September with this renewed sense of self-confidence, but no intention of working as hard as they did throughout that entire summer, they will not see the same success. I've only been in the game for about 10 years now, but so far, I have not seen a student come out of summer school feeling nice and then seeing that same success throughout their following year. The only time you should be considering summer school is this. Number 1, you're doing it just for the credit. You have no interest in building on it or pursuing it in the future. Some examples might be grade 10 civics and careers. Another example might be in grade 11. You're doing your last year of math and you are not looking back. You are not going to build on it. You are not interested in math at all. Why not go to summer school, get your grade 11 course, and all of a sudden you have a spare in your following year? Part 2. You need the mark for some kind of application outside of Canada, some kind of IB program, or some kind of other alternative school, maybe a private school. And let's face it, summer school, as I said, is easier, and so getting the high mark will make you more attractive in an application, will make you attractive for scholarships, will make you attractive for bursaries. Hey, money is money, and you gotta do what you gotta do. Part 3, you needed a credit that you didn't know you need, and time is of the essence. Hope this video helped. If you have any other questions that you want to ask about summer school, or anything in general, please ask away by commenting below. And as always, until next time, good luck.